Taxes in bankruptcy. So bankruptcy is what we consider a nuclear option. It is a very extreme measure. It can be a very effective tool if the taxpayer has other debts, but it has a lasting impact on the taxpayer and on their credit and on their general financial, or the perception of their general financial competency. So we generally recommend bankruptcy as kind of a last resort, particularly if the taxpayer only has tax liability, which is perhaps best settled in the offer and compromise program, versus going and filing a Chapter 7. However, bankruptcy can be an effective tool where there are other debts, or where an offer and compromise might not be the most feasible route to go for a variety of circumstances. And obviously, this is based on the individual and the variety of circumstances that surround most people, which are all different. But in terms of bankruptcy, we are dealing with liabilities that are income taxes. There cannot be any indicia of fraud or any sort of tax evasion. We are dealing with tax debts that are at least 3 years old. That's really important. A lot of people file returns assuming they can BK the debt right away. Your tax debt has to be at least 3 years old, and it has to be tax debt that the IRS has had at least 240 days to collect on you. That's really important, because when considering newer liabilities, especially taxpayers who may owe for multiple years and just file a year, when starting that clock on when you can file for bankruptcy, it is really important to make sure that the statute of limitations has properly expired. So you're going to want to account for tolling, and you're going to want to account for a variety of factors to make sure that your client is eligible to bankrupt those tax liabilities. If you fail to properly account for those and file bankruptcy before the statute is properly expired, then those taxes are not just chargeable in bankruptcy. And that is a really, really important consideration. And there are some very critical malpractice issues with advising a client to file for bankruptcy and not having all their tax liability absolved.